Hi, my name is Nathan Ticehurst. For some years now, I've been helping people to overcome anxiety issues and other mental discomforts that seem to be occurring more frequently in the modern world. We're currently at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, and I've been approached by the General Federation of Trade Unions to say a little bit about mental health and how to deal with it should some of you be uncomfortable or know somebody that's uncomfortable. I have worked alongside other people before who have had employees that are suffering from mental health issues to help them better understand what their employees are going through. Because as anyone will tell you, when they've been or when they've had their own mental health issues, it's very, very hard to explain to somebody else what you're going through. So really, as an employer or as a manager, or even as a family member, you can feel powerless. It's very, very hard to appreciate the situation. So I'm going to do my best to explain the situation, both for people going through it and for people that are around those going through it. Because my heart goes out to anybody who suffers anxiety attacks or mental health issues. But actually, equally, my heart goes out to the people who have to live alongside it and work alongside it. Because it comes with a number of juxtapositions. Somebody who's having an anxiety attack will not want somebody around them going, you're right, you're right. But equally, they don't want to be left alone by themselves. So you will feel like they're repelling you, but actually they do want you around, but in a more passive role. But there we'll get to that eventually. So I think the first thing that we will approach is, what is an anxiety or panic attack? What is going on there? The thing I want to tell you first of all, that this should be a massive relief to you, okay? The important things here, you are not going mad. You are in no way, shape, or form broken. The temptation is to believe that your brain has gone AWOL, that it's being disruptive, that it's betrayed you in some way, or that it's inadequate and it can't take the workload of modern life. The truth of the situation is quite the opposite. Your brain is trying to protect you. So anytime that you have an anxiety attack or a panic attack, this is when, so anxiety is a perfectly natural state of being. You want anxiety in your life. Without it, life is very, very flat. Butterflies in your tummy when you meet a new boyfriend, girlfriend, a job interview, going for a meal, someone's wedding, all of the best things in life all come with a little bit of nerves, a little bit of anticipation, a bit of excitement. And without that, it just, all the good things come with just a modicum of anxiety. And what happens to people who have panic attacks and anxiety attacks is that we accidentally make a mental loop whereby we panic about the panic itself, where we start to relate to anxiety, which is a perfectly natural thing to feel. We start to relate to anxiety as a really negative thing. We start to get scared of anxiety. So if somebody has an anxiety attack, I can assure you from personal experience, it's the hardest thing in the world. It is awful. Words just don't do it justice. The hardest thing I've ever been through. So somebody's having an anxiety attack is then going to be left with fear that this is going to happen again. So if it's yourself or if it's a colleague going through it, they will then have, it could be an important meeting or something, a little bit of anxiety comes up, which is natural. But they then experience a fear of that anxiety. It's a, oh no, it's coming. And as soon as they do that, they've told their brain, or you have told your brain, oh no, it's going to happen again. Your brain senses discomfort. It hits the alarm button. Get them out of there. This is fight or flight. Okay. So we are programmed, your brain is programmed. When you tell it, I'm not happy, it goes right. And it stokes the fires, you see the steam train analogy, it gets the burners going. You have a whole load of chemicals in your body from that point on. And the fight or flight response is a very efficient thing. Your body is now prepared. All your senses are heightened. You are now ready to fight something, or you're ready to flee from it. Either way, you need to be on the ball. You need to be moving fast. You need to be alert. You need to be aware of everything around you. Your body is trying to look after you. You have told it, oh no, I'm uncomfortable. It's doing its job. Okay? You've got a communication problem with your brain. That doesn't mean that you're mad. It just means that your brain is releasing too much of these chemicals at any sign of anxiety, when really it needs to wind itself back, release less, okay? And release it when there's a proper cue, not when you're going for a meal with girlfriend's parents. I mean, that's the sort of thing that used to give me a full-blown anxiety attack. And I'm not a coward. I'm not a meek person. But the slightest thing could give me a full-blown anxiety attack. So here you are in a situation where your brain is treating the smallest of situations. Sometimes it's even unrecognizable. You won't even know what's triggered it, but something, you have said to your brain, I need to get out of here. And your brain has gone, right. And it lobs a whole load of this stuff for you to get out of here. Now, from that point on, the person experiencing the panic attack is totally doused in these chemicals. Okay. Now, if you can imagine all your senses heightened to the point that you've got to fight, this is life or death. After all, your body doesn't care if you're left crying in the corner of a room, shaking after all of this. As long as you're alive, job done. It's reinforcing its behavior. So here you are, all your senses are heightened, and everything, and you've got nothing to fight. So it might be your colleagues, it might be your children, all the hustle and bustle of the world, everything closes in around you because all of that background noise, all of a sudden you're now aware of it. You're now aware of things that are always going on around you, but now they're in your face because you are really, really alert. You're alert for your own safety, but because you've got no external threat to aim all this energy at, it turns internal. So the world is now coming in around you. You're very aware because your brain is looking for the threat. But the problem is when it turns internally, you start to become aware of not just the background noise of things going on around you, but you become aware of your thoughts. You become aware of your breath. You become aware of your heart rate. You become aware of your temperature, the moisture in your mouth, the dryness of your mouth. And you can start to wonder what everyone else is thinking about you. What do they think? What do I? And before you know it, you think that you stand out like a sore thumb, and it's a thoroughly unpleasant experience. But I hope you can see what's happening there. Your brain trying to protect you. So the important thing here is that you are not in any way physically broken. You can change this. And I've done it myself, and it's easy enough to do. Okay. I lost years of my life, and what a waste of life. It took months to stop anxiety, and I don't have any anxiety now anymore. I've done best man speeches. I've done things like this video that I never thought I could do. Yes, there's anxiety, but not uncomfortable anxiety. It's good anxiety. And my brain recognizes now when I have anxiety, that's all right. He's excited. That's fine. You know? So anyone can unprogram what they've done to themselves. Okay, so you've got yourself, or the person we're talking about has themselves in a loop, a cognitive loop, whereby panic induces panic. Your brain does not know that it is causing the very situation it's trying to get you out of. So each time it releases those chemicals, you become more uncomfortable and you panic again. So it releases more and it releases more until you're exhausted, you're shaking, and it's a very intense feeling. So what do we do about it? First thing we do, or first thing we don't do really, more accurately, is the bad news is you cannot snap out of an anxiety attack. So you could come to a loved one, you can demonstrate to them that they're perfectly safe, that nothing is going to get them. But the truth of the matter is, like any chemical, be it alcohol, recreational drugs, the anesthetic at a dentist is a great one. Imagine your jaw being numb. You leave the dentist. Can you just switch off the anesthetic? No. It has to wear its course. It has to run for X amount of time before it's out of the body. The body will process it, okay, and it will get out of your body. You have to realize this with an anxiety attack. It's exactly the same. You have a whole load of chemicals cascading around your body, or your loved one has a whole load of chemicals cascading around your body, or your colleague. You might not love them. Either way, this person has all these chemicals in their body. They can't snap out of it. Don't expect a student to go back to the classroom during a panic attack just because they know there's no threat. It's illogical, yes, but they are still in a state, of fight or flight. Don't expect a colleague to go and run a machine. Give them some space. Tell them it's all right, and genuinely believe and know that they are going to be okay. If it is you going through this, don't worry about how long this is going to last. Because what you'll do, if you start to panic that this is it's not going, when will this end? Your brain says, oh God, they're still not comfortable, they must still be in danger. Sticks another load on. If you likened it to alcohol, it's like having room spin and then necking a couple of shots because you're uncomfortable. You have to break the cycle. Okay? So how you do that is simple. You realize, I've panicked. I've let those drugs go into my bloodstream. The best thing you can do is realize that you're okay. That's what's happened. I'm safe. I've been through this before. I've had panic attacks before. They wear off. They all wear off. Okay. Look at your watch. What time is it? Write that down. Now, busy yourself. Don't watch a film. Don't do anything that challenges your brain. Right now, your brain has lots of functions going on in it. Do something menial but engaging. Housework. Empty a cupboard and organize it and refill it. Do the dishes. Go for a run. No headphones. Meditate. Anything that occupies you without engaging your brain, because a phone or a screen, that's no good for you. That's not going to help you. You need to give your body the best chance of just processing this chemical through. And you need to do that without adding to the fire by panicking. Okay, so the situation you're in, just to recap, you have chemicals in your blood. You have the potential to add more chemicals by worrying about the situation that you're in, but you have the knowledge now that it is just chemicals in your blood and that they will fade away with time. Now you've looked at your clock. When you realize that the moment has passed and you're no longer in a state of anxiety, check your clock again. Write it down. Let's just say it's about 35 minutes, something like that. You now know that as long as you don't worry about your own situation, as long as you don't panic, your panic attack will last 35 minutes. Now, that comes with it a massive, massive piece of ammunition, because anxiety is now no longer an unknown to you. You now know that your anxiety attack will last 35 minutes and that you have control over it. It's no longer some unknown entity that drags on and on and on. It's a finite experience with a start and with an end, and that you can control that end by not panicking, and it will get closer. Now, I promise you, if you do this correctly, your next panic attack, you will knock time off of it, maybe 5 minutes. The reason for that is because you are not going to keep stoking that fire. You're just by having this information, you are going to be less scared of anxiety. That alone tells your brain, oh, it's not so bad anymore. It's okay. The situation's gone. You are reprogramming just like that your brain, and you will get to the point where anxiety attacks come. You go, I've done it again. Oh well, don't waste your time trying to figure out what made you panic, what made you uncomfortable. I'm all right. You will say to your brain, whether you realize it or not, you will send that message to your brain. I'm okay. All right then. Check the clock. Bang. I'm not saying it's going to be comfortable, but it's not going to bring to you that fear of the unknown, that impending doom that's hanging over you. And that's it. That's as simple as it is. That is I call it the Ticehurst method. That is how to overcome anxiety attacks. Understand what it is you're going through. So if it's yourself, you need to use that timer. Look at the clock, time it, and slowly but surely it will shorten down. And even if you're in a hard place in your life where you're not particularly covered, where we're locked in our homes because of COVID-19, it's still Okay, yes, you may have a high level of anxiety all the time because this is not a natural place to be. But it's those peaks, that will become less frequent and it will become less severe. So that is how to cut anxiety attacks out of your life. I highly recommend learning to meditate. That is one of the best things you can do for your mental health. So if I liken it to, well, I see it like this. If you imagine a graph, so there's your L shape, and you have a line there, that is the red line. You do not cross that red line, okay? That is where anxiety attacks occur. And let's just say you bobble around down here somewhere. And then on a bad day where you're stressed, you're a bit tightly strung, you're closer to that line. Thereby, peaks of anxiety are more likely to cross that threshold. So now you've learned how to deal with those peaks. You really want to learn how to lower your general overall level of anxiety, how highly you're strung, how you feel on a day-to-day basis. Wellness. So mindfulness meditation is a fabulous way of dealing with that. On my channel, you'll find lots of different meditations on how to deal with that. And I'll add some on, and I will tag the General Federation of Trade Unions in it. If you have a colleague that's having anxiety attacks, the kindest thing you can do to them is be with them, give them the support they need without, it's a very, very fine balance, and you won't get any thanks for it. Don't smother them. Imagine everything being turned up. If you have children, imagine they're all around you when you're trying to get something done. When you have an anxiety attack, everything is an interruption, and you can feel everything around you. Just let them know that you're there. Let them know that they can go to a quiet space and that it's okay. That no one's looking at them, no one's judging them, and just let them process this. Let those chemicals that are in their blood go through. Let them fade. Let them work their way through the body. And just like the anesthetic from a dentist, that will happen. It will fade away and they'll be back in the room. They will feel a little bit bruised because actually it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of energy out of you to have a panic attack. So just go steady with them. Encourage good, healthy behavior. Sleep is great, obviously. Not everyone gets good quality sleep. Exercise, meditation, all wonderful things, but that's in an ideal world. If it's a family member or a younger member of the family, if it's a child that's having the anxiety attack, if they're old enough to understand about the chemicals in the blood, brilliant. If not, use the clock. Tell them that it will be okay. You can't wish it away. You can't snap out of it. It's very important that people realize that, because every second that you spend wishing anxiety away, you're actually feeding it because you're worried. Every time it's not going to end, it's not going anywhere. You're fueling the fire, and you will get to that point where you don't even know if you were going to have an anxiety attack until you panicked about the anxiety attack. And then you panic because you panicked, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So for kids, find the things to occupy them, be around them again without stifling them, without smothering them. Just be in the same room, smile at them, give them something to occupy themselves, whether it's colouring, whether it's a musical instrument, whatever it is, but not a screen, not a screen. Ideally, not even a book. Just something that they can play with. It's age dependent, I know. And I hope that helps people out there. If you have any questions, please feel free to ping me. And keep an eye on this channel because I'm going to be putting a lot of videos about this over the coming weeks. Take care. Bye-bye.